Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of History Lessons. Today, I'm joined by members of the Bush Babies, Light A Fiyah, and Lead Majors, here to talk about their latest movement, Dolla music, website, singles, and more. But before we go into all that, how you fellas doing today?
Blessed, blessed. Feeling good, man. Good to see you again.
Bless. What up, Sin? Sincere.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Yes,
guys
sir.
for the
Good to be.
opportunity. Like I said, just want to jump into what you guys got going on for 2025. But if we can go back just a little bit, you guys both transitioned out to Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in Orlando.
Yeah, I had to escape the cold, man. Caribbean blood was calling.
No.
you
How
know,
long ago did you guys transition out there from New York?
I've been out here for about 10 years now. Probably about 10. Yeah,
Oh, a little
yeah,
more than that. I've
yeah.
been out. Yeah, I've been out here
How
for
long you
about
been?
8 or 9 years. 8 or 9 years.
Or maybe 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came out a little bit before Major did.
Okay. Talk a little bit about what you guys have been up to throughout the years. I know your last project as the Bush Babies dropped in '96. Just catch us up on what you guys have been up to before we jump into Dollar Van Music and what you guys got going on in 2025.
Absolutely. Uh, for most of us, raising families and moving to Florida and working and all of the things that you do as an adult, and still having that craving, that love for wanting to get back into the music and moving forward. But that's what I've been doing for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, family time really has been the focus probably. As with everybody trying to do their thing. But I think um, I think we have always kind of linked up and started and stopped and started and stopped. Little projects, and I think it just took time for us to feel like, all right, this is it. This is the right, you know, uh, uh, um, way to package it, right, and way to present yourself. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Right. Individually, did any of your projects see the light of day?
I
I would
mean,
say project for the most part, Light a Fire. Got some good tunes out there that you could go see on YouTube. Definitely from Light a Fire. Check that out. I know Mr. Man has done some projects as well throughout the span of time that you can catch on YouTube as well.
yeah,
But
Mr.
for
Man is heavy
me,
on the production too.
this is my first outing since, and I'm excited.
Right. So take us back to those conversations. At what point did you guys link up, and what was those early discussions like?
When we became a group, or
No, to get back into the music after such a
To get
long.
back into it, I
yeah.
think I think like Lee mentioned, I was doing, I was always recording and doing stuff, and then he was working with some artists near him, and there's a studio, a great engineer producer named Sice that we work with, and he Lee was like, "Come up, man, come work up here." And then when I did, I liked the vibe, and then I think that was sort of a starting point, for us to just start linking up more. And it took a while, it took a while for me to get Lee back on the mic. Like, like, come on, man, get in there and stop coaching everybody else. And then, I think when we really sat down and thought of the concept and the why behind what we're doing, I think that's what really breathed life into it.
For a couple decades, it's been the I like music, let's do some music, but I make a good living. I'm good. I don't need to, do this as a way to make a living. I just want to make music because I enjoy making music. Like, your NBA player who goes out to the gym. It wasn't until there was a comment made under one of our posts that talked about our music, and he said something about a dollar van, and everything just hit right there. And I remember taking off. I work from home, so I remember just like uh, interrupting my meeting that I was having and just jumping on the phone with Light and saying, yo, or shooting texts out to him with emoji, fire emojis like, yo, Dollar Van music, yo, I got it. Because that post that person said, that phrase just hit me, and it represented who we are. You know what I mean? The type of music, who we are, the culture, the under one, if I could just think of one phrase, it would be Dollar Van music, you know?
Yeah, yeah. If you ever rode in a dollar van in Brooklyn, then you know why. But it's just a different. It's hard to explain if you've never done it, but just loud music. Um, you could be sitting next to your grandma, and the most gangster dude ever on your other side, and but everybody feels safe and the vibe is good. Nobody like fighting, and I mean, of course it
Right.
happens, I'm sure, but that's not the memory we kept. It was the music, the vibe, and the spirit of like them dodging the cops while they doing it too. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was dope.
Now, Dollar Van is something that came out of the early '80s. Can you talk about the history behind Dollar Van concept?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. You want to go, Lee?
Yeah, yeah.
You want me to go? Yeah, I mean, it's. I think, like I was saying back then, and even before us, but when we was youths, um, Caribbean people coming up. At one point, there was a strike in New York City, and immigration. Caribbean people had immigrated first to England and London. In the 50s and 60s, and then Canada and New York more in the 60s, 70s, and going forward. And so that influx of Caribbean people, when you back home, those vans are everything. Those are the vans that run you around, right? That's the transportation system. So it was natural when they came up. One, there was an overflow, so the buses couldn't handle the amount of people trying to get to work, right? So buses and trains are packed. And then once they had a strike, I mean, you can imagine. So, the people just got their vans together, they transporting the people. And I think the bus was, I mean, prices range in different eras, but in our time, bus was like 125 at one point. But the
That
dollar
was
van
the
is
snapping
a
point.
dollar.
That was the snapping point
Mm-hmm.
in the dollar vans. It was getting from King's Plaza all the way back down Utica, all the way back down Flatbush. It was getting from the train stations all the way up Utica, all the way up Flatbush, because Flatbush and Utica ran parallel to each other, but they were several blocks away, and everyone kind of lives in between that. So it was a matter of when they raised that price to 125, and these guys were coming up the street, and they were playing the music you wanted to hear, and it was a cool thing, and they coming out Utica, Utica, and you jump in the van, and that was the snapping point. Forget the $1.25, $1 come true. Now it's probably like more than that to get into a dollar van, but that was the essence. That's what it was. And you were just traveling up Flatbush Avenue, and you were hearing other music coming out of the stores and other dollar vans that were competing for business that would swerve. You've never seen dudes drive the way they drive up Flatbush and Utica. You know what I mean?
Oh
To
yeah.
get
You think
crazy.
he was in a mini.
Right, right.
and
You
and
think
and,
he was
and
on the
the
dirt road in
vans and the
Jamaica.
and the vans each had a name to the van, right? Like on the top above the
Mhm.
wind on the windshield, right at the top.
Right.
So Terminator, you know what I mean? Rude boy lover, you know what I mean? Like whatever the van name was, and then rims, whatever they might have had, but some was beat up, some was clean. Different horns. Dude got the fishnet merino on, about 4 chains, 7 rings. You know what I mean? Like that was our youth, right? And so that energy, it actually still lives today in Flatbush. You know what I mean? And I think it's a Caribbean element that is big in hip hop too. You know.
Right. Very dope. So, at what point did you guys get together and pursue this and go all in this time around, as opposed to starting and stopping previously?
I'd say it was
Stages.
about, yeah, it was in stages, absolutely in stages. But I say of the last 2 to 3 years is when we started hitting the studio. Once we started making music and getting back together and really just getting in there, that's when it became, all right, you know what? we're gonna do this and we're gonna carry it throughout. And it was just the inspiration really of the name and what it meant. There has to be for us. There has to be a why. There has to be a moment that we capture, and it also has to be something that's not being done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't. We're not looking to just jump out there and create a sound that's already there. But there's not too many people out there that's creating that dollar van sound where you're having that dance hall, that hip hop, that boom bap, that gritty dance reggae bass lines, that feeling of that dollar cab ride. You know what I mean? In a hip hop essence. This that's not out there. So these are the things, these are the reasons why we said, you know what, we got to do this because it's a void.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was that creative process like? You guys haven't been in the studio together in X amount of years. What was that creative process getting together and, talking about concepts and ideas?
I mean, I think it's pretty seamless, to be honest, because like I said, I was coming up uh, to site studios, like I told you, and we were working, and so we were already working on stuff I was doing. We were working with other people, getting on other people's joints, sometimes coaching, helping, sometimes recording. So we were already working, and then um, I think like Lee said, I think it's the messaging and the thought behind it. So I think once Dollar Van came into the picture, like you mentioned, over the past 2 or 3 years, that's when we really started doing songs together more, right? And really doing it behind that sound, that feeling, rather than random verses. Because it's dope verses are great, but like Lee said, it's for us, it's I don't want to say it's deeper, but it's we tend to want to have a feeling behind it and a real, not just message, but something you can hold on to.
Right. Come Again, I believe, was your first single together. What was that reaction like and the feedback from the general public?
Absolutely, that was dope.
But it's kind
We
of
did,
all three.
yeah, we actually put 3 records out there that you'll find exclusively on our website, which I'm sure we'll get into. But Come Again was one of the first joints that we put out there. We put all 3 of them out at the same time, but Come Again would be one of the first that you heard. Um, and it was great, man. It started out as just bringing it back to where we come from, Flatbush. And someone who's very prominent in Flatbush asked us to do a song, and that he could put on his site, and that was We Are Flatbush, one of our dudes named Popeye. So we just got together, and we always had this tune from Tiger in our head. Big respect to that man. He's a dance hall legend, and he's got this record called Come Again, and we just went in there with that record in mind, which is something that's kind of like a dog whistle for Flatbush, because as soon as you hear it, you know where that comes from. You know what I mean? And just put it as an ode to Flatbush.
Yeah, big up Tiger. The song is called "When." It was a big hit way back, and
Mhm.
so that kind of like we said, like in Flatbush's sound systems, dancehall music, hip hop music playing at the same time. So it's just natural for us to blend that flow.
Right. You guys also dropped Rocket Launcher with DV alias Christ. How'd you guys link up with him?
Oh, that's been our people's for a long time, but recently he came out to Orlando, and he actually good friends with Mr. Man for some time. So when he came out to Orlando, we met each other through that connection, and from there it was like, you know what, got to get this dude on a record. And one of the big reasons for DV getting on that record is just when I listen to him and the contrast of voices, it just creates art. It's one of those when you look at a blank piece of paper and you're just trying to create some art, and you're just like, you know what, this texture and these colors, it's gonna mix well. You know what I mean? You know it's gonna mix well, and that's how we felt going into that record with him.
Yeah,
Definitely artist to check out.
yeah, his voice is legendary, Brethren. Like
Yeah.
he's it's yeah one of the top low hip hop.
Low.
It's yeah, I can't say enough. The Brethren, bless up.
You guys also dropped Happy as well. What was that feedback like?
That a lot of people been saying is one of their favorite records. Actually, Happy out of the three that we dropped. Honestly, it was one of the easiest records because we just went right in there, and it's a freestyle. You know what I mean? It was just a freestyle, and what people really like is something they've never heard before, which is that back and forth between a hip hop and a dancehall artist in that back and forth motion in hip hop. Never really seen that before. And for us to do it and create such a seamless flow back and forth is,
Yeah,
something that folks been giving us a lot of kudos on.
Right.
yeah.
Production.
I think. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
for it, sir.
You go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say, yeah, that was a fun record to do, and like Major was saying, it's more of a freestyle in our heads when we first started, but um, I think people also remember us for doing hooks, right? Like a lot of great hooks and making songs. So it's nice for us to kind of flex like that. I think we probably do a lot more of that too.
Right. Are you guys handling your own production?
No, the ones that you just heard was produced by Real Aesthetic. But then we also have some other things that are coming out with some in-house producers. We got some other tracks from Bink as well, Humble Monster. So a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. 2 Decay, another dope producer out there from the Carolinas. Got some good joints out
Of
coming out.
course, Mr. Man as well.
Man, yep.
We're working on some joints, and then like you mentioned, I think with Bink and Mr. Man, we kind of have a solid foundation, and then cats like 2 Decay are coming up in the camp and sending joints in. And we working with anybody, honestly. As long as there's a genuine connection.
Right. You guys also recently launched a website. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, man, we're very proud of that. DollaVanmusic.com, DOLLA vanmusic.com. And it's exciting. One of the reasons why we decided to go this route and use our own platform, it's a couple things. Number one, I've been in one of those situations where my social media platform goes down and you almost feel naked out there. And I never want that to happen with my
Mhm.
business. So building our own website is that's one of the reasons for that. The other thing is our whole idea is we know we got folks out there that love to hear our music. It may not be 2 billion people that but it give us a good couple 100,000 folks that want to come to our website, shop with us, look at our videos, check out, the world and what Bush Baby's got to offer, what Dollar Van has to offer. And that's what that's what that website is about. You come there and just enjoy all of the things that we bring to the table under our house, inside of our house and just, enjoy the
Yeah,
website. So we're happy about it.
yeah. I think it's been a long time. Like same thing with us working together. It's been a long time. We've talked about it, but it's like I think the Bush Baby logo itself carries, a lot of nostalgia for folks. It also is one of the, and I'm biased, but one of the dope artwork pieces from hip hop, from our era, right? So, but we never really pushed it out there in that fashion. So I think now with it on the hoodies and with the Dollar Van sort of movement that we're coming with, I think the merch is exciting for me too because we've been talking about it and wanting to do it for a long time when we was on tours and things like that. We just never got around to it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You get a chance to get on that website, check out the merch. The hoodies are fly. If you've always been a fan of the Bush Baby logo, what's dope about it is we also have the hoodies in some really dope springtime colors as well. So definitely check out the colors. Got some other tees as well that's available. But it's just great to have your own house to be able to, market your merch and your music and your in the lifestyle.
Yeah, and we're gonna start dropping. I know spring and summer's coming, so we'll have more teas for y'all and stuff. But we definitely want to make sure that we slap that logo out there early in the beginning.
Yeah, we got a dope We Run Things tee.
Yeah,
That's fire that we get a lot of you know comments about.
So Now the consumers can also get 3 free downloads when they hit the website, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. As soon as you get on the website, throw in your email address, and you'll be able to get uh, all 3 records that we just talked about for free, free download. Yeah.
And to build on what we were saying earlier, it's the idea is, and of course they're like, well, why can't I stream it? Why can't I pull it up here or there? And it's like, well, we kind of wanted to create that niche hip hop experience moment, kind of drawing the early fans, as we put together our mailing lists, and and understanding sort of the metrics and where the fans are at, right? Instead of and we all are, sometimes uncomfortable with the way streaming works, but we'll participate at some point. But right now, we just kind of want to funnel and create a home for our peoples to connect.
Right. Any plans on physical copies?
Ah, glad you
Ah,
mentioned that, because you go,
I'm going to
you
say
go
yes
first.
with demand. Yes, as the demand grows. Absolutely.
Well, right now we have and this is the concept that we're pushing forward. We have a if you're on the site, if you go to the site now, we have what we call it, a VIP box, Lee, or like a
Yes. Hmm.
it's a VIP box where you get signed copy of the Bush Baby album, vinyl, hoodie. You can pick your color, all that. Then we slip special gift inside and all of that. And then I think that might be a concept we push forward with more vinyl pieces as they come. But again, it's cool. I get it. Like, what everybody wants it to be large and blow up, but we really want to make sure that we're controlling it and growing, organically ourselves, and really connecting with the fans. Because I mean, I see a lot of value in that, and I see how other artists that I see, younger artists too, right, that are inspirational, that are doing it. You see how they're handling fans and engaging with fans online, which in our era, that wasn't how it was at first, right? So we want to make sure that we're true to that and really connect with the fans on the way, during the journey. You know.
Right. Have you guys been able to touch the stage as of the past couple years, and any plans to tour in the near future?
Oh, absolutely. One of the shows that we were able to do last was with the 50 years of hip hop.
Was you
Pretty
guys
much.
here in Harlem?
That's right. We were in Harlem, we were in Queens, we were in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
we were throughout the boroughs celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Some small shows here and there. I know we got some shows coming up overseas, Chile, places like that. But we're moving around, and once again with the website, if anyone's looking to book, they can go right to the website. There's a booking page, and we're looking to work with folks.
Right, right. That too, right? Like, even controlling the bookings and making sure that we're once you become obligated with a larger agency or certain things, you have to commit in a different way. So we just want to control it, and be really responsive and engaging with, like, the promoters and the fans, right? And do things the right way. So yeah, Chile, I think Colombia, we're getting a lot of hits, especially South America. I was just saying to Lee, like, damn, it looks like we have to spend some time in South America this year. But that feels good, man. It feels good. And a lot of the main contacts that here in the States, we're kind of planning more recording sessions with over the year. And you'll just hear consistent music. I think that's consistent music and great engagement is our, key points.
Right. With the Dollar Van Music, what is the overall goal? Keep releasing singles, a whole album. What are you guys looking to do with Dollar Van Music in the future?
Yeah, I think exactly that, right? Being consistent is our first step, right? That engagement and that consistency, and then read in the room, right? And say, all right, what more they want? They want this, they want that, they want more sound stuff, they want, I mean, I mean, we have some film ideas, we have a lot of projects in mind, but we want to make sure that we're um, good stewards, right, of the business and the work, right, and the art. So um man, the DMs fill up quick, like we're just trying to get drops out and connect with everybody. And you realize the need for a team, right, why everybody's like I gotta have a team, right? So right now it's in-house outsourcing. Like we just reach out to people and make that connection, and then have them operate for us. At moments, but as we build it, man, we just excited, and we want to make sure that we keep owning it. You know what I mean? Keep owning it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the other parts of that too is not just creating these avenues where we're using them to enrich ourselves. We've already talked about and are putting things together to help, with the community of Flatbush, the community that we lift up and we talk about all the time. It's
Mhm.
also, imperative for us at our age that we're doing something where we're not just making music, but we're doing what we should be doing at our age as well, which is helping these kids out. So that's also dear to our hearts, for the kids in Flatbush to be able to experience some of the things that we used to experience that's not there anymore. But we know, that what it did for us, how
Mhm.
it helped us to come up. And we want to put those things back into the community.
Right. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier participating with the We Are Flatbush movement. Can you talk a little bit about who's behind that and your participation with that particular group?
Absolutely. So Popeye is one of the individuals that leads that movement. We are Flatbush. You can go to their page on Instagram. We are Flatbush, and it is just that. It's a movement. It just showcases Flatbush as far as what we call old Brooklyn and things that used to happen in the '90s in Flatbush. Also showcases things that are going on currently in Flatbush as far as music, as far as culture, but more importantly, what I just talked about, we just had a conversation with with Popeye, We Are Flatbush, and talked about how when we were younger, the bus, the hustlers, the churches, whatever, they used to come out and support the kids by, hey, you know what? Let's pay this money and put them on a bus ride, and let's get them over to Great Inventions, Donny Park. Let's go get them to a museum, and that doesn't really happen no more in the area. So we talked about doing things like that to support the community. So, you know, that's what when we say we are Flatbush, not
That's right.
just in the music, but in the community and
Yep.
in the spirit of Flatbush.
Right.
That's right. Just like them dollar vans, we not wait for nobody to save us. So when they things shut down, we organize with self, and you know what I mean. And so we got to always do that. So that's why we're moving the way we're moving, tight,
Right,
and with with good
right,
connection.
right. That's why Light keeps talking about control and the website and so on, because that's what we're trying to bring forth.
Right. Like you said, the three singles are out now. When can we expect the fourth? And what else can we expect moving in the future from Dollar Van Music?
Uh, I would say in the next couple of months, expect a release of more tunes. We throwing tunes at you. We not just here's another single, here's another visual. No, when we keep coming, we're just gonna keep loading on your head top, just keep dropping more music. So
Yeah.
expect it in the next couple weeks, you're gonna hear even more music. We're not stopping. We instead of just dropping the first song, we drop three. So when the next period comes out, we're gonna drop even more.
Punches and bunches,
Yes,
for all
sir.
my boxing fans. Punches and bunches, man.
Very dope. What do you guys think it is about you guys that people are still talking about you 30 years later?
Um, I would
Probably
say first,
honesty.
yeah.
Honesty.
Mhm.
Honesty, man. I think when you look, whether it's the biggest artists or around the way artists, local artists, underground artists, overseas, I think you can feel when somebody's being themselves. You know what I mean? And there's not like a big show going on. So I think it makes people comfortable, right? Because they might could see something in you that they deal with or see, and as you see more conversations about mental health and stuff, you pick up on that, right? That people kind of don't always want to see the plastic facade, right? They want to see what's really going on, man, so that they could learn from you, they could be inspired by you too, and it does translate into commerce and dollars, right? So it's not just feelings and trying to be everybody's friend. It there's actual facts that show that that connection is better with consumers, especially nowadays when they're so flooded with everything, right? So if there's not a connection, then what are you really building, right? And so you can go quick, but it usually doesn't last. So
Right. Anything you want to add, to that, Lee?
Um, I would say it's the reason. It just to piggyback on what Light is saying. Honesty. It's honesty. It's the reason why when we heard the phrase "dollar van music," it struck us. It's the reason why we're not called Mercedes Benz music, or you know what I mean, because it's not us. It's not who we are. So those who who can get with who we are just gonna follow, that path. It's about honesty.
Right. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for joining me this afternoon. Before we get out of here, can you let the people know where they can follow you guys, social media, and about that new exciting website? Where can they find that at?
Sure. DollaVanMusic.com, DOLLA vanmusic.com, and also follow us on IG at Bush_babies.
yep,
Mhm.
yep, tap in.
No doubt. Before we get out of here, once again, any last words for those supporters who've been following you since day one?
Yeah,
Continue to
man.
support.
Yeah, you go first, brother.
Continue to support. Yeah, man, you got it.
Yeah, man. I got a list I want to know. I I mean, enough tunes, man. Thank you, and for those that have been waiting, man, we appreciate you, and we hear you, and forward ever, backward never. We're not stop.
No doubt. Thank you, Lee Majors, Light a Fire, for joining me. This is Dollar Van Music. New singles out now, website, merch. Be sure to follow and support these guys. New music coming soon. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening.
Bless, respect.
You guys in
Respect.
the future. Now I'll edit it and I'll tag you guys when I throw it out there.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's
Yeah,
man.
definitely. Tag us as contributors.
Absolutely.
You
Like I
Is
said,
got
that
it.
a real background or
it's a poster.
poster?
Okay.
Okay,
Nah, I'm kidding.
it's real.
Oh, look at all the people. What? What?
See, we should have
What?
caught. See, you have to catch that. You still recording? That's you for put up.
See, that's you have to catch, yo.
You gotta
Because
catch
nine
that.
times out of ten, yeah, 9 times out of 10, people thinking that's a poster or backdrop. And then you pull a tape out like that, that's dope.
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah. You
That's
gotta do
dope.
that. You gotta do that on all the interviews.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, man. Respect.
Yeah,
Anything you guys
respect.
got
Man.
up in the future, be sure to let me know and we can push it out there as much as we can.
Appreciate
Okay.
you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Thank you guys for your
All
work.
right.
Stay blessed.
You got it, man. Bless.